like to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Stormwater Management Board on Wednesday, August 14th, 2024. And the first order of business is if there's any public who wants to give input on items not on the agenda.
No hands raised.
Seeing no one, the next order of business is approval of minutes for July 10th, 2024.
We don't have the minutes yet.
Oh, okay. No, we didn't, did we?
What did you say, Kelsey?
We'll have them in September.
Oh, is mine not working?
September. You'll have the minutes in September.
I will have the July minutes for you in September. I apologize for the delay. Great.
No problem. Then we will move on to the stormwater expenditure report for July of 2024.
Okay. The biggest expenditure was for pipes, and that was over $17,000. We did have to transfer money into the seed and mulch and also into our office supplies because we were running low on that. And our rental, we rented out, I just had that, over $4,000. We used like a jackhammer, a mini track loader, but other than that, everything else is par for the course.
We just got something in chat that says that the audio is pretty low, so I think if people could move their mics closer, it might be helpful.
Although I could hear you. I could hear you. I think we're okay.
Then our next order of business is Hydrogeology, Inc. and On-Call Services Agreement.
Okay, so this is an on-call services agreement with Hydrogeology Incorporated. It's a local geologist who does consulting, specifically for karst, and it's Jason Crothy. I've worked with him quite a bit. There are times when I would like more information on a karst feature, specifically if you have issues in the right-of-way. I want to have on-call services who I can get quick information and have someone there to help answer questions about things we just cannot solve ourselves, and they have access to information that we don't. So they do an hourly rate, and like I said, this would be on-call, but I also included provisions in there for adding projects or task orders. So if we have a larger project, say sinkhole mapping or something else we want to do, we could do it under this contract. So, any questions?
I'm really glad you're doing this. It makes a ton of sense. Is this going to be presented with a not to exceed amount to the commissioners for a contract?
It can.
What would that be?
I am limited by what I have budgeted in the account, so
Right. So it'll be that.
it would be
Perfect.
not too much. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. I guess
Yes.
we've had this discussion, and we also kind of looked, I think, last year at budgeting the dollars for this year for a potential kind of karst analysis, GIS analysis, and I know there was kind of an earmark of a dollar amount. I say whatever that not to exceed is, kind of incorporates that dollar amount, and then maybe what you're planning on using. So when you present it to the commissioners, and if this is a project that we're going to move forward with, it will fall within that not to exceed amount.
Yes, that amount was $40,000.
Okay.
So I can have that as the not to exceed amount.
And then also, some buffer there for what else you want, just
Yes.
in case we want to greenlight that project. If that seems like a good
Yeah.
approach. with
Or I
the
see that
colleagues.
project being piecemeal as well, because it would be a
Okay.
lot to have one person do the entire county. So if there are watersheds or townships we want to focus on first, we can do it in smaller batches.
Right.
So,
And this is a 1 year? Is this intended to be a 1 year agreement?
we can put a limit for the time frame of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of our on-call contracts have time limits like that.
Okay. Okay.
Usually if someone wants to change their rates, then we'll get a new contract.
Right.
So-
So So here's what I'm thinking, without a deadline or an end date, which makes sense to me, as we've done with others, then the amount you should be considering maybe what we'd spend in 18 months. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there, because it doesn't all have to be allocated for this year. Obviously, it could go into next year. So think about that with the not to exceed amount, as to how
Okay.
far you want this, to think about the budget.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay.
Anything else? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the Hydrology Inc. on-call services agreement as presented in our packet.
Second.
Is that with the, I guess, the condition of making the not to exceed? I don't know. I don't think we need to worry about, you got, if you, yeah, okay.
That comes to the Board of Commissioners.
Yeah, so we can address it
yeah.
there.
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. And our next order of business is Reed and Sons on-call agreement for CCTV services.
Yeah, so this is another on-call contract or agreement with a local company. CCTV stands for closed circuit televising, which is where you send a camera into storm sewer pipes, and it measures the distance in the pipe. It has a HD camera with 360 view, so you get really detailed information on the condition of a pipe. You can record deficiencies, blockages, any other cracks or things you see in it, and it's very great technology to have for inspecting storm sewers without having to send a person physically into the pipe to see it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to get that information. So Reed and Sons is a local company who has a camera truck, and they've agreed to an on-call hourly contract, minimum of 4 hours per visit, because it's an extensive process to set up the camera. It's a time commitment. We would use this. The crew has instances where we have drainage issues or just failures. Say a hole opens up in the road because of a storm pipe failure. We need to get a camera in there to see the extent of the damage, find blockages, things like that. So that would be like the on-call. We can also use this for just doing general surveys of, say, individual subdivisions. If we have a subdivision we know is older, we know the infrastructure is prone to failing, we've had issues in the past, we can televise all the storm pipes in that area and come up with a longer-term plan for managing it, and tie that into an asset management program where we can do more preventive maintenance. That's my eventual goal. So, yeah.
Sounds good. Are there any questions, comments?
Yes, on the current, what's in our packet, it still says that we're entering into this agreement as of the 21st of May, 2024, so.
I will have that updated
Yes.
before the commissioners' meeting in the signature block.
And it'll still have a year
Yes.
on it? Okay.
Yes.
Great.
And were you thinking we should have a not to exceed on this one as well? And I just skimmed it. I'm not, so I didn't catch a not to exceed if there was one.
Yeah, this one's going to be more difficult for me to quantify since we haven't
Okay.
contracted this before. I'm not sure how often we'll use it. I could use these services a lot, but I'm not sure how often Reed and Sons would be available. They're not going to be available every day to do televising work, so.
And I'm comfortable with that. My colleagues are the ones that are making the determination when it goes to the Board of Commissioners, so if they're comfortable, I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Okay.
There are no further questions. Do I have a motion?
I move approval of the Reed and Sons on-call agreement for CCTV services.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And the Reed and Sons on-call agreement for CCTV services passes. And next on our budget is the stormwater budget for, 1197.
Yeah, so this is the 2025 stormwater budget. We've made a few changes from last month. The main change is the addition of a Great-All purchase and a new vehicle. I didn't have those on there last time, but after discussions with Lisa and the highway department, we know that this is a purchase we will have to make based on our current Gradle issues we've had the past couple of years. For example, it was down for 6 months over the winter. We may do, but it slowed down our operations. So it's a very useful piece of equipment, and they're the only company who makes it. We can't drive excavator 60 miles per hour on the highway to get from one end of the county to the other. It just has so many benefits that we need to make sure that we're keeping up on our equipment replacements as needed. So that's just the first thing I wanted to bring up, and then I'll go through the rest of the budget. But the other is the addition of a vehicle. I'm currently driving a 2016 Ford Escape, which was used by the highway department previously, and it's going to be 9 years old. And Lisa talked with Richard, and based on the general replacement plan for county vehicles, it's at the end of its useful life for the county. So the highway department can surplus that, and we'll replace that vehicle. Another change we made is professional services or professional fees and general engineering services are two account lines we use for contracts. And there's been some discussion on combining those two accounts because it's been done inconsistently in the past, how we're charging engineering, on-call contracts, professional services for various things. And it makes sense to have it all in one account so that you don't have to figure out what to charge where. This is how Lisa in the highway department does theirs. And so we're zeroing out the general engineering services and doing all of those contracts under professional fees. So there's a little mistake on the draft here where the general engineering services, it's zeroed out. It should be decreased by 35.
There you go.
That's pretty evident. Okay. So I'm going to skip over salaries. Those will be set by others. Said office supplies has a small increase. We have additional need with our new permit to buy more supplies for printing the permits and other documentation in our office. We've had to transfer a little bit of money for office supplies to get ahead on that. Let's see. Field crew supplies, fleet maintenance will remain the same. Increased testing sampling equipment. We have been doing a monitoring program this year using Hoosier Riverwatch. One of our graduate fellows, Kaylin, has designed that program for us last winter. She started monitoring in the spring. Adam Ricker has been continuing that monitoring this summer. So we hope to continue that program and improve some of our equipment so we're using better technology and can eventually get more accurate and more useful data. So let's see. We had to increase seed and mulch. We've been doing more seed and straw since we bought the straw blower this year. Our crew loves it. It works so well. It's cheaper than hydro seeding. I'm glad we got to try out hydro seeding last year, but we decided to decrease the hydro seeding line quite a bit and put more money into the seed and mulch. In addition, the cost of seed is just rising. It's very expensive, so we have to keep up with inflation as well. But yeah, I just want to thank you for the purchase of that straw blower this year. It's been really successful for us. We're keeping pipes the same for now. I think we should be okay. This is also the line where other infrastructure will come out of. It's just called pipe, so if you have to buy castings or inlets, it all comes out of there. If I were to have a larger project, I can bring it to the board with a resolution and have a new account line just for that project. So, for backfill, we have the amount we had for stormwater. We didn't increase, but we added funding, $75,000 at the request of Lisa for highway, due to the number of culverts that are being replaced, and so that our funding can help keep up with the road paving and the infrastructure updates that are needed for that. Did you have any questions on that, since that is also new from last month? No? Okay.
Are you asking for questions of the presentation or one item at a time? Because I've been holding my comments on a number of different things we went, so I can wait until you're done and then go through my questions.
Sure, I can go through it all, and then,
Okay.
or however you want to do it. Okay. Keeping signs the same. Again, the other repairs line, training and travel remaining the same. Again, software, that's our cartograph license. On-call construction services, mostly flagging comes out of there, the services that our crew uses. Okay, everything else remains the same. Disposal fees, that's for disposing of the street sweepings at a landfill. That is a state requirement. Again, decreased general engineering services, decreased hydro seeding. Let's see, good housekeeping, that's for a little bit of funding to help with some of the stormwater measures at the highway garage facility, since we share that facility. Professional fees, again, that's increased. Increased to combine general engineering services to that. Okay. Public education and participation, we have $35,000 to help with the MOU for soil and water, as well as a few thousand to help with our education programming, like sponsorships and table reservations, and other purchases needed for our education programming. Let's see. Printing for materials that we use for tabling, calendars, etc. Keeping fuel the same. We're on good pace with what we have currently, and it hasn't increased a whole lot, unlike a couple of years ago where it was getting pretty bad. Postage the same, communications, drug testing we had to increase. Our crew just got chosen a lot this year for some reason. It's random, but we had to transfer money into that line, and we want to make sure that doesn't have to happen again next year. It's not a huge amount, so hopefully that'll cover it. Again, other insurance, had to increase that, but we don't have control over that. That's just what we need to pay. Lake Monroe water quality, we have $25,000 committed for Friends of Lake Monroe for the grant they're applying for, as well as $3,500 for Lake Monroe Water Fund for an MOU we have with them as well. And again, we'll have MOUs for both of those. All of those matching funds and grants will have us a document to sign with those before we disperse them. All right, printing, utilities, rental of equipment, all of that remains the same. Little bit of money for Baby Creek. Let's see. If that project goes through, I will ask for an additional, but I'm going to keep it where it is for now. Stip Road and Moores Creek Road, we are planning, well, we just had an additional approved to cover the construction of Moores Creek Road for this year. I would like to have Stip Road bid out before the end of the year and under contract, so we plan to go for an additional probably in October by the end of the year, so that we'll have all the funding we need for both Stip Road and Moores Creek Road. So that's why you're seeing no funding requested for 2025. We're hoping it'll all be under contract by the end of this year. So that helps move things along. One thing that is also driving that is our water permits expire in December of this year, and you don't have to reapply for those permits if we have the project under contract. So I'm working with our engineer, our consultant, to make sure we meet that deadline and have a contingency plan, just in case. But that's the main reason why I really want to get that Stip Road project under contract. And so that it can be completed and Highway can hopefully pave it when it's completed. All right, and then we discussed the Gradle purchase being requested, as well as one vehicle replacement. Okay. We have Lisa on as well if you have any questions about something that she'd be better to answer. So. Okay.
Any questions?
Happy to take questions.
I have a few I could defer Okay, I guess I'll run down my list, and some of them might just be more general comments. I guess with the stormwater technician, the new that we have highlighted, it has no budget dollar amount. I think we should still budget for what we're anticipating.
To Kim, and she said it's going to PAC. You can't budget it until it goes to PAC, and it's approved. You can't assume it's going to be a Pat A or Pat C, any of that. So she said, don't budget it. They will take care of that after PAC.
For additional, okay.
Yes. I tried.
No. And Kim Shell, she does such a great job of trying to streamline the budget process. So absolutely, thank you, Tina. So the backfill pavement repair, I understand. I don't really want to kind of get into the minutia of kind of how this is going to work, but ideally what I think would be very beneficial from kind of a budget analysis standpoint is having the lines separated, so whatever we're doing to help offset some of the costs, and I know we're able to do that with our highway department with some of the paving projects, it would be nice to know what dollar amount is really going to help that, because we've talked about other potential collaborative ways of doing things with highway, and that's eventually going to be a pretty sizable dollar amount, and I would really like to know what we're obligating from our stormwater ratepayer fees to help assist, offset, some other projects that were typically done within the highway department. And, without me asking for an itemized, analysis and doing all my reporting, kind of having lump sums or lines dedicated. So if we start spending, I don't want to speculate, we're looking at 75,000 here, but if we just times that by 3 or 4, we're getting up there. Again, that's just more of a comment because, I think if it's grouped together, it's going to be harder to pair those apart and understand really where these dollars are going. And from my standpoint, I really want to see more ratepayer fee goals and water quality initiatives. And I know that water quantity is big, and I know that this preventative maintenance and repairs will ultimately help wash other costs to the county, but there are also other funds that are able to support that, and that this fund could be used in a number of different ways with kind of our ratepayers. So again, I won't get into too much of the nuances there. On-call contracting services, same 75. Okay, it kind of goes with what I was saying. It kind of cleans up the budget a little bit. We start seeing kind of where all these dollars are coming from. Also, a lot of this doesn't prevent you from doing an in-house transfer. So, I think that's good. Engineering, general services, again, I see you zeroed that out. Again, I think that goes to kind of trying to do some housekeeping with our budget to exactly know where these dollars are coming from. Professional fees, surprised that's not thrown onto the on-call contracting services, but again, I like it because it really kind of separates maybe some of what we're spending those dollars on. Trust me, I'm almost done. Other insurance, okay, so this one goes into other thing, non-health, so a lot of it's going to be like automobile kind of insurance, and then we also have like a repair line, and now I'm going to jump to the Great All and then the new Ford Escape. We're putting a lot of dollars towards that equipment. It's needed, I understand, but I just want to bring it up that it's not just the lump sum for the new purchase. We're also paying for maintenance, insurance. I did just some Googling of Great Alls. It looks like, we could get 10,000 hours. I mean, if we're running 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week with, 52 weeks, not accounting for any holidays or anything like that, it does fall within like 7 to 10 years for a lifespan use, and that's right where we're at. But I don't know if we're operating to that type of capacity. And what I really want to bring up is making sure that stormwater has good storage for these equipment, and also that if we're still taking the initiative to try to get some of the crew trained for general maintenance, and is that within the job description? And if not, let's build it into the job description so they can be compensated for that, so we can kind of keep the life cycle of this equipment longer. I think that's very important. This was one of the biggest purchases when I first started on the stormwater board that we made. So, you know, to be here again, to be looking at buying a new one, caught me off guard. And I think everyone's aware of that. So that's kind of my thoughts around that. Also, I'd like to kind of know the mileage of the Ford. I know we have the year, but I think mileage is a big indicator on kind of life cycle of vehicles. I'm not going to say we don't need one. I like how you presented the budget last time, and this time we're kind of looking at the same budget as a bottom line, but what we're buying or spending dollars on is different. So that makes me want to ask about Baby Creek being decreased, but if we can greenlight this project, we are looking to go for additional, and that could be around $1 to $2 million, right? Just to speculate a little bit. So just want to make sure it's clear that we're looking to spend down quite a sizable amount of money this year, and also the additional appropriation that we got just recently for Morris Creek is around $483,000. So, you know, we're dipping into our cash balance, which is very important. And, you know, I don't want to get into bonding and things, but, you know, having a healthy cash balance is pretty important to getting a low, you know, low interest rate. There we go. Sorry. All right. That's my one tangent, I hope. With that, I mean, I'm going to support the budget. It's really hard for me to get there this time. I think we need to understand where we're spending these dollars. I think we really need to come together and look at, are we wanting to kind of spread these dollars to more ratepayers? Do we want to focus on water quality as much as water quantity? Because if so, in the way we're spending the money now, we won't have much left. And, you know, that's my opinion, but I think if I wanted to spend a lot of time, I could quantify that as well. That's it. Thank you. I guess there was one question there, but I just really, this is my chance to allow people to know where I stand on this and what my thoughts are. So I appreciate everyone's time and attention. And like I said, I'll get behind this budget this year.
I'm sorry, would you like to reiterate the one question?
The additional appropriation for Baby Creek, because that was budgeted in here last time we looked at it, but we're looking at just asking for additional versus budgeting it. So.
I didn't have a large sum budgeted for Baby Creek. I kept it at a lower amount to make sure I had our engineering contract covered. But I had Stip Road in there. I took it out because we can have it under contract by the end of the year. So that's the big decrease you're seeing. So we're closer to our, being close to our anticipated revenue at about $2.5 million. But I see Lisa has her hand raised.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, they gave me a new mic this week, so. Tron, I appreciate all your comments and questions. About the insurance of the $70,000 going up, a lot of that too has to do with, you know, we have been able to purchase a new dump truck, items like that. So that increases your automobile insurance and a replacement of our older vehicles. Concerning the Gradle, yeah, I know the hours are up there. They have been, and it's been a good piece of equipment for us. I know it's an expensive one. As far as the cash in stormwater, I've run into this with our other projects. It does look like, yeah, you've got a large amount of cash sitting there, but once you start these projects, I agree that cash is going to go away, but that's what we save for. That's what we want to show the tax rate payers out there, that we are, yeah, we're saving those funds, but it's to fix the projects where, Stip Road, where somebody's not going to be, abandoned from their home. But you have to save these funds to get to that point. And then, yeah, it's all going to hit at once, but we think this is sustainable. We think we've done a really good job on our budget, conserving where we can. And then the only other part, I think you questioned about the storage of the Gradall and everything in this equipment. Stormwater fees or rate, stormwater budget does not provide any storage for the equipment. It's all provided by the highway department. So we do use, different aspects of both departments to make it work for each other, take care of equipment for each other. So we do storage, the sweepers, all of that in the highway buildings. That is all provided by another budget. So.
And I know, and that's why, I'm comfortable with supporting this due to everything that you just stated.
Are there any other comment or discussion or questions?
I just want to make a comment that I appreciate all the work that's gone into creating this budget. Is the professional fees a decrease of 40,000? Is that what the 120,000 reflects?
No, that's a increase.
That's an increase. I was going to say, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one actually was a decrease. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That makes sense. Perfect. All right. And I will state that I'm glad we're moving forward on getting a Gradall. Mr. Kreider is the fleet and facilities manager for the county, and if he's saying that vehicle, the passenger vehicle, needs to be replaced, then I take his word for it, and we'll sell it at auction. I don't know that the money comes back to us, though. It goes into county general, I think, which is kind of strange. So I don't know if we can do something about that. That's a weird little nuanced question. When that gets auctioned off, can we get that money put back into stormwater fund? Because that's where it belongs, because that's where the original money came out of to buy it, I believe.
Yeah. It wasn't a stormwater vehicle.
Oh,
it
it
has
wasn't?
a hand raised. Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
But going forward.
But going forward, we want to make sure that
Yeah.
that happens. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Saved my bacon. All right, so.
You're a vegetarian.
Because I'm
What
just
is
kind of
this?
rambling. But the other thing I will say is that, of course, every vehicle you buy has maintenance and insurance, but we're replacing vehicles, so the maintenance and insurance should be flat fee. It's just an ongoing expense no matter which vehicles we have, so I'm not too worried about that. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
And I think Tron had another question on mileage, and if my memory serves me right, that vehicle has 90,000 plus miles on it.
Okay, yeah, that was not necessarily for me, maybe just for the public, because I think a lot of
Okay.
people will be like, oh, it's
Yeah.
only 9 years old. My car is 20 years old. And if you throw that mileage, it just shows another reason why we need to do that. And then maybe,
Yep.
if we are able to, understand how many hours has been put on the Gradall, but that's for the future. And thanks for addressing my questions, Lisa. Appreciate that.
Any further questions or comments?
Well, since the Ford Escape has to go back to the county, I'm hoping that maybe we could again donate this vehicle to HealthNet
Maybe?
for their,
Be nice.
yeah,
Dr. Richard?
yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to approve the stormwater budget as presented for 2025.
I happily second.
All in favor
Oh,
of?
we need public comment.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Is there any public comment on the stormwater budget for 2025? I do not see any. So all in favor of the 2025 stormwater budget, please say aye.
Aye.
and the stormwater budget passes. And the next thing, our next item is creation of a new stormwater technician position and modification of existing stormwater positions.
Yes. I didn't have a memo prepared for you, so I'll just give you a quick update on the status. As Tina said, we're planning to take the technician position to PAC in September. Lisa and I will work on the draft job description, and it will also require updates to the MS4 assistant and stormwater inspector positions. So we are working through all the required PAC materials for that. So I will keep you updated at our September meeting. I believe that'll be after the PAC meeting, so I'll have a little bit more to tell you at that point. Okay?
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
It's kind of related, sorry. Just thinking about this flow of money, because typically, for example, in planning, permitting fees and even judgments based on the failure to comply with with planning, those dollars go into the county general. Does the same thing happen with stormwater?
I don't believe so. Tina's been...
Can you find out, and if it does go into county general, can you ask the council to address that? Because with the new technician, especially, I feel like that's something that needs to come back into stormwater fund as a revenue.
And is
Yeah.
it addressing the council, or is it more the stormwater's purview of wanting it to work like that, or is that a fiduciary matter the council
The council would
decides on?
have to create a budget, a
Okay.
revenue line that
that's-
would accept those dollars in, and they would come into stormwater. And I don't think we've got them right now in stormwater. I don't remember seeing them, so.
No.
Yeah.
We have, because when I write a check, it just goes to the treasurer.
Okay.
And then they have a line that they put it under, and two something, I can't remember.
Yeah,
the-
but it goes into county general,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
think
but given
that's-
that this is a ratepayer fund, I feel like that's something that could be addressed, and we could ask the council to do that for 2025 to create that line, especially having a new technician. I think it would be helpful, and that'll help us track too. Thanks.
Thank you.
And is the need for this new technician in part driven by House Enrolled Act 1108?
Yes, we hope to spend more time on inspections and inspecting sites that we don't
He's out
typically have
there
time
today.
to look at. Taking on
copied
grading
it.
permits from the planning department and requiring stormwater permit for new residential development and sites disturbing 1/2 acre or more. So that's more than we're currently inspecting, and we are going to be focusing on sensitive areas, and that includes areas disturbing steep slopes. So.
This was another unfunded mandate from the state
Exactly.
that county residents have to pay.
Yep.
Yeah. Just
Amen.
wanted to point this out.
Yep. Singing to the choir.
Did you, sorry. Oh, one, I just want to mention that I'm in absolute support of what Commissioner Thomas just said about getting those permit dollars back to the stormwater fund. I almost thought that would just be like a part of it. So as you can see, I'm showing my ignorance on kind of how to do permits and bring revenue in, because I've never done that before. The way that our corner fund is done is through the recorder's office, and they just kind of give us the revenue. So like this is a bit more outside of my wheelhouse than I had imagined. So thanks, Julie, for making that comment. And also, I think that moving forward with the technician is great, and looking at the other job descriptions are really good. And then I just wanted to echo my comment during the budget, like as far as if we need specialized skills to maintain some of our equipment, and if we could build that into some of the job parameters, and then potentially, you know, compensate them for, you know, learning that skill set and potentially taking on that maintenance, if that could really kind of increase the life of those vehicles, the life cycle of those vehicles, and great all. So just a thought. I'm going to defer a lot to the stormwater program as we move forward, but thank you.
Did you want me to address that, Tron?
Sure. I mean, it's just for consideration. However you guys
Yeah.
think that the office should kind of grow, like I said, I'm going to defer a lot to you and Kelsey through this process.
Okay, because we utilize the mechanics that are out of the MVH budget, and then they are billed at Stormwater and our Cume Bridge program are billed for very small amounts for the maintenance. But they're not charged for building and any of the tools or anything that's the lift that we just purchased. And then, of course, it's a collective bargaining unit, so it would have to be completely ran through their union for any new positions, modifying positions, things like that, so.
Again, yeah, I'm a little out of my wheelhouse. I forgot you guys do a union. Okay.
All right, is there anything further? Then, staff reports.
Here we have Martha Miller on Teams, and she said she can provide a quick update for you on SWCD happenings.
Ms. Miller?
I will give her a minute. In the meantime, I can give my own staff reports. Okay, so an update on Moores Creek Road. We are very ready to begin construction soon, especially with having the funding in place, and we just have last minute details with Duke Energy to resolve, but we're very close, and I anticipate starting construction soon. I'm hoping I'll have a very exciting update for you and maybe some pictures at our September meeting. That's my goal. But we still think we can be on track to complete the project and have it paved before the end of the year. Okay. And then I also want to note that we are hiring a new O'Neill graduate fellow, and it is Madison Luna. She'll be starting with us at the end of August. And Kaylin Berkey, our other graduate fellow, she will be returning for her second year also at the end of August. So I hope to have her present to you a summary of what she has been working on for us, the monitoring program. And this fall, you can expect to hear an update from them. So I wanted to let you know that we have someone new coming on board. Martha said it froze up on her. But Martha, do you want to, she's not on anymore. Oh, goodness. Well.
That's okay.
Okay.
She can send us a report on email.
Yeah,
That's fine.
that'd be good.
Okay. Lisa, do you have anything else? No? Okay.
Well, if that's it, then we can be adjourned. The date of our next meeting is Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 at 3 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.